Hi everyone, I have a sweet and easy interactive card featuring Spellbinders Dancin St. Nick. I've always been drawn to St. Nick done up in white and gold, and so presenting St. Nick with a little bit of glamour and glitz. There are a few die cuts needed to put this guy together, and so I began by die cutting everything using my Gemini Go machine. When there's lots of die cutting to be done and the dies are smaller, I like to work with a mini die cutter sitting at my craft table. I'm working with just 3 kinds of cardstock: gold and white glitter, and then just white cardstock. And with this itty bitty electric die cutter, I'm finished in no time at all. Dancin St. Nick is super easy to put together. I first add the white glitter trim and pom-pom to the gold glitter hat. Next, I'm going to pop on his gold glitter boots. When I'm working with small die cuts, I like to use a jewel picker to pick them up. Now I'm going to add the trim on Santa's coat. So if you'll look at the die, there is a score line. This is a little bit more difficult to see on the glitter paper. I have to turn the die cut at a slight angle to be able to see the score line to get that piece lined up. Santa's belt is adhered right above the trim. And then on goes a cute monogram belt buckle with the letter S, of course. Next, I'm going to put the arms together. Santa's mitten has a little die cut between the thumb and the main part of the mitten so that he can properly hang on to his important list. And finally, there's the trim for the cuffs of his coat. Mitten will be set aside until I'm ready to attach the list, and I'm just going to dot on some glue and use my jewel picker to pick up those cuffs and pop them into place. Glue is applied to the balls at the top of the arm, and then the body is positioned on top of them. I die cut Santa's face and nose out of white cardstock. I first color the entire die cut with a Copic marker E21, and then I'm going to add in some rosy cheeks with R81 and back to the E21 to blend it out a little bit. On either side of the head, there's this little bump out area in the shape of an L. I'm going to apply glue to this. Then the beard will be adhered to the head. Just a small amount of glue along the top of the head, and then on goes Santa's hat. Instead of popping in die cuts for the eyes, I just took a piece of black cardstock and glued it to the back of the head. The top of the beard has a little die cut area that the nose fits perfectly in. And the final step for now is applying glue to the beard and attaching the head to the body. Because the legs are interactive, they will go on separately when Santa is adhered to the card front. There are 2 separate die cuts for Santa's list. The top of the list will be dimensional because it will have this cute little roll. So this die cut has a score line that needs to be creased. This smaller piece is attached to the back of the longer list so that the top of it will fold over top of it. The additional mitten with the little die cut is adhered to the list. The list is fitted into that little die cut between the thumb and the main mitten, making it look like Santa's holding on to it. To create the card front, I have 2 pieces of white cardstock that measure 4 by 5 1/4 inches. I'm going to die cut an opening using essential ovals. I want them to be exactly the same on both panels, so I've taped them together with a little bit of purple tape. The die has not been centered, leaving a little bit more room at the top for the main sentiment. I'm going to use the new Argyle Socks embossing folder to emboss one of the panels. In my platinum die cutter, I just removed the bottom cutting plate to run it through. Creating a faux shaker background for Santa, the acetate is adhered to the panel that is not embossed. I'm going to use Spellbinders Bisque Opalescent Sequins as the faux shaker material. I'm going to make sure that they don't overlap one another. Another layer of glue is applied and I pop another piece of acetate on top. The second sheet of acetate is not going to lay perfectly flat because of the sequins. Go all the way around the perimeter, pressing it into place to get good contact between the two pieces of acetate. The panel that was embossed with the Argyle Socks embossing folder is attached on top of the acetate, making sure that the ovals are aligned. The card front is then attached to some glitter cardstock that is slightly larger for a thin reveal. Foam squares are attached to the back of the Santa, starting at the head and going just halfway down his coat. I'm using small foam squares because my stash is running low. There is a hole on the die cut of the legs. After the legs are put in position, put another foam square or circle in that hole. The legs will not be attached to the Santa because they need to swing freely. That does mean that when you're putting Santa on the card front, you do need to hang on to the legs. Both the main and secondary sentiments, I'm using foam puffy stickers from the Santa Lane card making kit. When applying stickers, I do not apply any pressure to them until they are positioned where I want them. This gives me lots of flexibility to get them centered. The secondary sentiment on the strip is centered at the bottom of the oval. Believe in the magic of the season, the perfect sentiment for Dancin St. Nick. The card front was mounted on an A2 top folding card base out of black cardstock. Spellbinders Dancin St. Nick has been taken to the next level with a little bit of glamour and glitz. I love interactive cards, but some of them can be so complicated and time consuming. This one is fast and easy and super cute. I hope you enjoyed this video and stay tuned for some dancin' reindeers. Thank you so much for stopping by, and as always, I appreciate your visit.